Conflicts of interest for conveyancers navigating the minefield. Well, if your starting point is, in any case, there is no conflict here, there's no conflict of interest, then you have to think again. Why? Because a prudent conveyancer has to be continually on the alert to potential conflict of interests arising, which are not always immediately apparent, and for which property transactions in particular present a minefield to navigate. There are guides available by the Law Society, SRA, the Code of Conduct, and others, but throughout you need to develop something of an instinct to spot a conflict before you've gone too far with any transaction. So what are the main bullet points that we're going to go through? Can computer programs spot conflict situations and resolve them? We'll look at some of the Law Society guides on conflict in conveyancing, the SRA principles and the Code of Conduct in general and on conflict in particular, helping to assess if there is a conflict and the exceptions, and we'll briefly compare with the Council of Licensed Conveyancers. Illustrative case studies of the SRA and others, what to avoid and the importance of disclosure, the dangers of witnessing a document. Are you always aware of a conflict having arisen in your office? Sometimes unwittingly, the conveyancer acts for both parties. Recently, there was a fine for this, £2,000 with £20,000 costs awarded. What does the UK Finance Mortgage Lending Handbook tell us? Can the issue of conflict actually affect a property contract itself? Who exactly are you acting for? Some illustrative cases on that, who you take instructions from, and the need to verify such instructions. What is meant by the expressions own interest conflict and client conflict? What do the rules say? Is there a way in which the lawyer is able to assess whether or not there is in fact a conflict, and how do you deal with interests of any actual or potential third parties? Are there any exceptional circumstances when it is permissible for you to continue acting, even though you have assessed that there is or very well may be a conflict? In particular, for the conveyancer, are there occasions in which you are actually allowed to act for the seller of a property as well as the buyer, or indeed to act for both the buyer and the mortgagee? Confidentiality and disclosure, conflict between integrity and honesty, and between a principal and an assistant. Can your mental state ever excuse a conflict or dishonest behaviour? Conflict of interest between fraudulent borrower and lender, which results in a claim for breach of warranty of authority against the acting solicitor. Is conflict restricted to your office, or can conflict arise in relations with third parties for the conveyancer outside of the office? And apart from the professional rules and guides, a look at common law on conflict and the extent of your retainer. We'll have a few illustrative answers and questions, discussion points as we get them throughout.